The Lord's Sermons, Sermon 1, First Sunday in Advent, The Signs of the Future. St. Luke 21, verses 25 to 26. And there will be signs in sun and moon and stars, and upon the earth distress of nations in perplexity of the roaring of the sea and the waves, men fainting with fear and with foreboding of what is coming to the world, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. November 23rd, 1871. The Lord said, "This is that text from the Gospels with which the ecclesiastical year usually begins. It is read to the believers at church every year, explained in one way or another, so as to best serve the preacher's purpose. Even if many of them do speak of signs and miracles, only a few know what these signs actually consist in and in what way they will announce the time to come. Most preachers choose their explanations of this text from the political life, thus endeavoring to explain what is spiritual with worldly examples. This is quite as futile an effort as if one would try to explain the spiritual world through the material, whereas it should be the other way round, since the happenings of the world are the result of spiritual upheavals. Behold, my children, when in those times I spoke of signs and predicted to the Jews the destruction of their temple, only few of them believed my words because they did not know me. Now, when I am telling you the same, there are quite as many doubters and non-believers expecting the signs from a different side than where they will actually be coming from. At that time, I predicted the destruction of the Temple of Jerusalem and the end of the Jewish people as an independent nation. I told them that the way in which they were observing their religious laws was contrary to what Moses and the prophets had wanted to give them, and that an end must be made to this conception and practice by means of the true interpretation for the sake of which I had come and sacrificed my life. They did not want to relinquish what through habit had long since become their faith or religion. For them, the temple in Jerusalem represented the spiritual edifice of religion. However, since things were so bad in that temple and religion was preached and practiced to suit the interests of priests and Pharisees, this material temple had to be destroyed if mankind were not to rot in the muddy, stagnant water of their lowest passions. Another spiritual everlasting temple, for which I laid the foundation stone during my life on earth, could only be built on the ruins of the former. As from that time, and since my ascension, signs have been given, and still are being given, until my second coming, admonishing people to convert, but it never seemed to be the right time to destroy the present temple, namely Rome and its system. Even if a ray of light heralding the future illuminated the heart of many a person in Rome, it stayed dark and kept getting darker instead of lighter. What once happened in Jerusalem, where the armed Roman power during a long time respected the religion and customs of the Jews and gave them a free hand, has happened also with Rome until this day. The mighty, with the sword in their hand, well aware of the nuisance in Rome, did not want to make an end to it, but preferred to use it in their own interest. However, just as once the Jews brought about the destruction of the temple and their own downfall through their presumptuous and rebellious attitude, the edifice of the infallible on Peter's chair in Rome will collapse through the presumption and blindness of his own assistants, and will have to make room for my teaching as once before. What happened when I first came to the earth as a man will happen again. There will be signs. Happy they who understand and heed them for their own benefit and that of their fellow men. Spiritually, that which had been predicted will commence, and actually has already commenced, with exactly the same symptoms as once during my pilgrimage on earth. Wars and uprisings, the persecution of my followers, fear of the future, and all kinds of diseases were the early signs then, and shall not be absent today. Not that I am sending them, but men work with their own destiny through non-comprehension of my divine words that shall remain unchanged forever. The wind of spiritual freedom is blowing also today, penetrating all human hearts. The human rights that have been disregarded for so long want to be respected and no longer trampled underfoot by just one class, the more powerful. It seems that even a worm will turn when trod upon. Well, the mighty of the church and the world have trod on the worm long enough, endeavoring to completely subjugate it and let human dignity begin only with them. But they went too far. This they feel and are now, in their fear of the consequences, looking for means to stop this development. But in vain. As once in Jerusalem, also these mighty of today will reap what they have sown. At that time I advised my followers to be moderate in everything, to retain their souls and bodies pure and not to misuse them, so that they may stand purified before the Son of Man when he shall come. The same admonition applies also today. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. Keep yourselves pure, gain strength through your faith in my love and my divine care, which, even if it allows the most terrible things to happen, will never punish those who have followed my teaching with childlike trust and practiced it with faithful zeal. The signs of the time will pass you by when you have learned to adapt your body to a minimum of physical needs, but instead are more concerned with the building up of your spiritual being. Then, as once my followers did, you will praise my greatness, love, and mercy even over smoking ruins of worldly splendor and battlefields, where matter has been defeated, but the spirit liberated. Amen. To learn more, send a blank email to sermons@hisnewword.org. May God richly bless you.